Hello everybody, this is Mark. Today I want to talk about variable ND filters for the Mavic Air 2 versus your traditional ND filter, and what I feel are the merits of getting variable ND filters versus just a normal ND filter. The variable ND filters for the Mavic Air 2 come in two sizes. One is from 2 stop to 5 stop, which gives you ND4 to ND32. The other is 6 stop to 9 stop, which gives you actually from ND64 all the way up to ND512. The ND64 you may use on the 6 to 9 stop. The 512 and the 256 you would use for something like a long exposure shot. If you wanted to shoot like a 1.5 second or a 1 second long exposure shot, you might put the ND 512 on there to give you some motion blur in your photograph when you're taking a long exposure shot. The more common used of this will be the ND hard stop 2 to 5, which will give me my ND4 to my ND32, which is the most common use. The reason that I bought these two filter set from FreeWell is I just put that one ND filter on there that's 2 stop to 5 stop, and I never have to take this filter off of my Mavic Air 2 anymore, so I don't have to worry about stressing the camera or the gimbal by handling it all the time to put on ND8 and ND16 and ND32 or whatever. I just simply turn this little red wheel here to match it up to the triangle there, and that tells me what hard stop it is. So with this one filter right here, I have all of the ND filters that I would get in a normal pack that would cost me around $60 or so, just in the one filter. But on super bright days, or if I want to do long exposure shots, I have this filter which takes me all the way from ND64 all the way up to ND512. So for me, getting this 2-pack filter set just made sense because it gives me all the filters that I will ever need from a Mavic Air 2 in just 2 filters. The difference is with the normal ND set, like the ND set that comes from DJI, if I want to change out a filter and I want to go, let's say, from the ND16 to the ND64, which is the DJI set's a little bit skewed, I'd have to land the drone, take this filter off, which means putting stress on the camera, twisting it to take it off. Then I'd have to put the ND64 on, twist it on, take back off, and go up in the air. And that's only two filters, ND16 or ND64. So if I had like an ND8 and then I wanted to go ND16 and that wasn't enough and I wanted to go to ND32, I'm going to have to change the actual filter 3 different times, which means twisting this filter on and off the drone, putting stress on the camera. With this one filter here from FreeWell, I can go all the way from, again, ND4 all the way up to ND32 simply by twisting this wheel. So let me go ahead and take this one out of here, and I'll try to show you how this works. You probably can't see the numbers on here, probably won't be in focus that well, but I'm going to go ahead and twist it all the way down to where this would be ND4. Then let's watch the filter as I twist it. This is ND8, ND16, and then ND32. So by simply dialing this wheel now, I can go through the most common used ND filters on any drone, which would be your ND8, ND16, and ND32. ND4 I probably won't use that much, but I have in the past with my other drones used ND8, ND16, and ND32. So with the variable hard stop ND filters, you can limit the number of filters you actually have to put on the drone, and all you do to go from one filter value to the next is simply land the drone and dial the wheel until you get the filter that you need. And what the purpose of the ND filters is to allow you to allow in the correct amount of light for your exposure in your drone shots, to allow you to keep an ISO of 100 and the shutter speed double your frame rate. That's very important. The most important thing to have smooth cinematic footage based on all of the tutorials I watched is to make sure that your shutter speed stays twice your frame rate. So you can use the ND filter to adjust the amount of light so that you're not overexposed when you try to do that. And again, with these, this one filter gives me 4 filters instead of just one. 4 filters by simply dialing the wheel. This one pack from FreeWell ran me about $45. It ended up being about $55 with shipping. FreeWell is a very reliable company as far as filters go. I use FreeWell for my Mavic Air when I had the Mavic Air, and I've used FreeWell for my Spark before in the past. So I kind of like FreeWell because FreeWell is normally about $20 to $30 cheaper for the same set of filters that you get if you buy Polar Pro, and I really think that the quality of these filters is just as good as Polar Pro. So there you go, hard stop variable ND 2-pack filters for the DJI Mavic Air 2 from FreeWell. Take care, keep them in the air. Bye bye.